Good morning, Focus Up family. Coming to you live every Saturday, 9 a.m. And we here on time again because of me. But yeah, we are here. What's up, my fellas? How's everybody doing this morning?
Doing all right, all right.
Doing
Doing
All
good,
good.
brother.
right.
Doing good.
Indeed. Nice to see you guys. I love it. It's a joyous day. But today we are doing something special for the brother, Mr. Kevin Samuels. Yesterday was his birthday, Friday the 13th. He was born March 13th, 1969. The brother passed away. I think it was at May 22nd, 2022. But the brother has been gone and away from us for a number of years. It's been about a good 3 years. And you know what? His message still lives on. And there's a lot of people duplicating the message that he was trying to illustrate to a lot of our people out there. Some people think it was bad, some people think it was good.
What?
Everyone has a Kevin Samuels story about this man, good, bad, or indifferent. And guess what? Everybody right, because it's your opinion. You receive now, if your opinion is something you heard from other people or trickle down, we don't need to hear your fucking opinion. Matter of fact, tell your wife to give your balls back, buddy. You know what I'm saying? So as a man, you can give an objective opinion. For his opinion, he was loved and hated. In death, he was mourned and celebrated. But now that he's been gone, his message is being duplicated and reciprocated. Let me stop messing around. let me stop messing around. Let me stop messing around. But the brother's gone, and I felt this show was kind of necessary for his birthday, just to talk about him and talk about what he meant to people, because I personally think that the whole dating game has changed within the last 10 years. I have been single off and on after I got a divorce, and I've seen from 2016 to 2026 a shift in the dating game from women and the men. And I kind of think Kevin Samuels' message had something to do with that. He emerged on the scene around the time, well, he'd been around for a while, but he really got kind of famous, his fame from that average at best video that he did with that sister who was kind of well off, but he kind of critiqued her and told her a few things about herself that was kind of unbelievable to her, because she was still in kind of a delusional state, in my opinion. But that's when he came to his prominence, and a lot of people start paying attention to him. Celebrities, regular old folk like me. So that's where we at with this. What's
So,
going
hey,
on?
Mr.
Yeah,
Walt, you said that he shifted the dating arena. Was it a shift in the positive or a shift in the negative?
I
And
think
you,
it was. I think it was definitely in a positive, because a lot of brothers, including myself, kind of got a awakening as to what's out there for us. Because a lot of women, they were kind of in the power seat because they got the stuff that the guys want. So we kind of was doing a bit extra. Now I'm gonna give an example, a quick example. A guy I know. He took a woman out on a date, a concert, flowers, dinner, and he never heard from her again after that. She didn't no call, no like even answering his calls. Now that was just a woman that was just kind of pushed him to the side. Now he's a good brother, making decent money, good job, and all that stuff. But she obviously felt that she had better options out there, and that's kind of what I've started seeing with women. They kind of been using men for like just a food date, or just go out and we're gonna just he gonna take me out to eat. He gonna take me to the show I want to go see, this play, and so that's kind of been a shift, because it was not like that 10 years ago. 10 years ago, I think it was women were more, a little bit more demure and more receptive to going out and being with brothers as far as like showing appreciation for at least going out on a date. Yeah.
Yeah. It
Let's
sounds like the man that you're describing is the little midget on Bad Senator.
I never saw that movie, so I don't get it. Yeah.
so
Yeah.
So look, okay, go ahead, Mr. Floyd X.
I was just gonna ask, like, let's get an assessment or an opinion. What's everybody's take on Mr. Kevin Samuels? You know, it's been you say it's been 4 or 5 years since he's been gone,
4.
and you know,
Almost 4
years, 4 years, and his message in 2026, I think Walk saying it still resonate. What's your opinion of Mr. Nice Guy? How about you? What's your take or what's your opinion of Mr. Kevin Samuels?
Look, I look at him as a legendary, YouTuber. I mean, look, I know we do what we do. I consider him basically a person in the field itch of what we do. And he just was on a whole nother level with it. He's one of the greats, you know what I'm saying, as far as doing that. He had a very entertaining show, you know what I'm saying? He carried himself, Look, at the end of the day, I mean, I feel like he did some things that I feel was great TV. It's just like Flavor of Love. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say that it was the most respectful show, but it was very entertaining. It was a train wreck show. I feel like there were times that he gave good advice. I think that, at the end of the day, because he wasn't like a licensed therapist, because he wasn't, a person that wasn't, performing on a show, there was a lot of lack of tact at times. Lack of patience. I've seen him have great patience at times, but I've seen him have like no patience. I've seen him play sound effects. You know what I'm saying? It's like, look, you can help somebody and hurt somebody at the same time. And my personal observation was that I saw a lot of things that I felt like were counterproductive, and not just to that person, but to the viewers. As I was telling Floyd X earlier, I said, me and you, we can watch Scarface and we can watch it with a mature mind and not be impacted by it. But some small minds watch Scarface and they basically walk away with something different. So that's the danger of doing this type of thing, which is basically, for all intents and purposes, therapy, on YouTube. But it was great TV. I was very entertained by it. And, these females kept calling in for it. So, I mean, if that's what they were asking for, he was giving what they were asking them.
I don't think he ever proclaimed to be a therapist. Like, he would suggest to the callers that they should get therapy. He says even the male and females. Like me personally, I have been to therapy, and it's helped me a lot with my anger issues and drinking and a lot of other different things that I went through in my life. But the people that called, they called at their own free will, and they sat there and listened to it. It was. I don't think he was denigrating them either. I think it was more or less like a critique, just to show them what. Take the glasses off and look and see what's really what. You know what I'm saying? Because they got women who would call and be like, 5'2", 200 pounds, 3 kids from 3 different guys. I want a guy who making $100,000 a year. That's the top 10% of men. That's like not the average. He was trying to make people see what you actually qualify for. Because a brother like me, I'm not like sitting here working a regular job thinking I got a shot at Halle Berry. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really delusional like that. I don't think, man, we get to that point. I think he was really trying to change things for the better. Now, here's some things I could read. Like, prior to 1965, black folks had an 80% marriage rate. Now the marriage rate is 30 to 40%. That's low as hell. And 80% of the marriage, when women divorce the men, their women are behind. They initiating a divorce, and marriages are lasting the average of 5 years. Now, of course, a lot of the brothers on this show, that don't apply to y'all. But a damn show smack dab hit me right where it hurt, buddy, because I do meet those statistics. My last marriage was only for 5 years us together. And my wife initiated divorce. As good as I look, she fucking crazy.
To the X, what was your take on Mr. Kevin Samuels, brother?
But first of all, let me say good morning to everybody and to anyone who might be watching right now. But starting off with the fact that when it comes to, I never claimed to be a fan of anybody except Kevin Samuels. You know what I mean? That dude, when he came onto the scene, it was as if my voice was amplified because I had been promoting a lot of what he had been saying well before I heard it being articulated in the way it was, and then how he organized, key information. But I want to start from the end, if you will, which is really only the beginning, is post-death. He has been more influential dead than alive, which is wild because, his outreach right now, the channel still generates income. It's estimated worth $4 million just right now. That was carried forward. It inspired books, podcasts, self-help circles, focus on overcoming feelings. There's been a generation of creator copycats, all throughout all the social media, So again, still relevant today. But, when you just start looking at, what he built when he promoted his framework was the high value man. But for all the talk about how he talk negatively about women, is really, he was always, trying to lift up men and telling men to step their game up. He talked about 6-figure income, 3 to 5 years of being consistent, having visibility in the network, usefulness, emotional control. That was something that was highly promoted. And that's, again, that's what grabbed me because I was on him before, he really started to pick up, but when a woman started to come in, to play, I guess where he really got the notoriety was from, letting them know that, look, you're on a value scale. Men care about your looks, your age, your attitude, your fertility. These are things that were, not being, promoted. And then his core messages, of course, we're talking about accountability over victimhood. I know right now, somewhere Afro, wherever he at, if he hearing this, he's like, anybody, I'm about to join this a bit. You know what I'm saying? Because, the patriarchy, this type of stuff. But look, accountability over victimhood. He was like, Black women, you're responsible for your dating choice. Men, we choose who we get married, but women, you choose who you have sex with. You know what I'm saying? So what's happening is ultimately choices that you're making. So own it. And then that is where a lot of pushback came back. But he had a critique on modern dating. He talked about a sense of entitlement out there. Brother mentioned average at best. We could get into that later if I want to, but it was a reality check. You know what I mean? And that's what, really started to wake people up. But overall, whether you're a man or female, he talked about self-improvement. He says you'll never outperform your belief systems. So he talked about, self-improvement. So, I had just real briefly, I have a couple pictures, that I want to share. And then I'll close out with my screen share. But the first one, the discipline books right here, is a Kevin inspired, a generation of women, to now really look inward and focus on self. You know what I mean? And then when it comes to men, go ahead and show my next one, Encyclopedia. This is a brother, who I never met personally, but he wrote this book and he did a lot of other publications. But this is called Encyclopedia of the Alchemy of Women by Brother Keenan Booker. You know what I mean? Look, man, he teaches you, that this thing go way back when it comes to like the sorcery of what, I mean? It's deep. It's deep, you know what I mean? But and lastly,
patriarchy.
The slander that was going on against my brother. I'm going to share my screen real quick. First, this is who they were saying that Kevin Samuels was with the day he died. It was crazy, you know what I'm saying? It's like, man, come on, man. I'm not saying she ugly, but, who he was really with was her. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. And the sister, she took a lot of heat.
You just put all our governments out there.
Hey, look. She took a lot of heat, but Dennis Burley brought her on the show. And then talked about what happened, the whole 9 yards, and she really was a nurse, and so she didn't have anything to do with his death. Although as we know there are various, theories are out there, and who knows? I think all things are possible, but at the end of the day, look, man, Kevin Samuels, man, he earned that title, the Godfather, rest in power, my brother. He's still relevant even, in his death. Salute, brother.
All right. Before you go, before I know you want to talk about the death part, I want to get Mr. El Poo's assessment on the Mr. Kevin Samuels.
And after that, Afro's gonna tap in. I got something to read from him. Go ahead.
Yeah, I just saw little clips of Kevin Samuels and everything. I just think he was a real brother, giving out some real advice and everything. But personally, I took more advice from Corey Holcomb than Kevin Samuels because he was telling some real too. But rest in peace to that brother. I ain't really got much value to add to that except rest in peace and salute.
All right.
All right. Brother Afro Agnostic could not be here. It's killing him to not be here, but he did send me something to read. So let me do my Gavin Newsom impression, and I'm gonna read this for you. So I ain't gonna be looking at the camera. But Kevin Samuels was an image consultant and cologne salesman who found internet fame during COVID. His success followed the same manosphere formula used by figures like Andrew Tate, Myron Gaines, and Tommy Sotomayor, monetizing content that criticizes and denigrates women while marketing a so-called high-value lifestyle brand for men. He even admitted the formula himself. Men don't necessarily want the truth. They want to hear women being bashed because that's what makes the likes and views go through the roof. That doesn't make someone a black leader. Historically, black leaders built organizations, movements, and institutions. Samuels was essentially an internet provocateur whose brand revolved around antagonizing black women. And it's worth asking, what major civil rights or Black Power era leader was a political conservative, a registered Republican, and admirer of Rush Limbaugh? So that's Afro Agnostic's words,
Anyway,
hold on. Let me address that part. Well, let me address my brother Afro, man. I don't understand why you bring in the politics. He was a conservative. Who gives a shit? Who cares? He was a conservative, so what? We talking about what he did and what he represented. When he got on that mic, he said, call in if you want to talk. And everybody know what his show was about. Everybody know what he was talking and how he approached. He know what they do with the required questions he asked. How much you weigh? How tall are you? Okay, and you said you want what? Oh, you want what? How tall are you? How much you weigh? Easy, obvious questions, because if you say that you want something, the first thing that you have to know is if do they want you? And do you qualify? Like what say about Holly Berry, if I'm going after Holly Berry, I know there's certain requirements I got to meet. If I'm working at McDonald's and I'm overweight, it's not likely that I'm going to get a Holly Berry. And so if you are overweight sister and you are not taking care of yourself, you're not going to get Captain America. What's that lady name?
Gabrielle.
Sidibe. Yeah, you're not going to get Captain America, Lizzo. You're not going to get them. I'm sorry. You can sing and blow the flute all you want, but Captain America is not waiting for you.
And Kevin Samuels didn't only.
Oh, damn, my bad.
Dang. Woo.
Go ahead,
the powers that be, man.
I know. Yeah, Omar. Where Omar at? Where Omar?
He found his way into my fingers and took you off screen.
The Jews.
But look, Kevin Samuels said, when men are when men are the best versions of themselves, the world is a better place. See, the power right now is within the women, and we have to take the power back. Power is not given. We have to take it. And that way we have to better ourselves. Like, that's how I even got into Kevin Samuels. I got into Kevin Samuels from my brother, my oldest brother. He sent me a video on Facebook, and it pissed me freaking off. It was talking about grown men in their 40s wearing Jordans and sagging their pants. And here I am wearing Jordans and sagging my pants. And I was like, fuck you. But now, was he wrong? I had to do some self-reflection like, damn, the brother is right. Here I am, a grown man with children, and I'm my pants sagging, and I'm cripping and all this bullshit. You know what I'm saying? So I had to do an assessment of myself, and that was a good thing.
Yeah, he's a professional. He was a professional image consultant. But yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. And he also expressed power, purpose, and your soft skills. Of course, and I know my soft skills is good. That's why I'm on the Focus South show, because I'm a good communicator. But as far as with my purpose, that's what I felt I had to work on within myself. The power that's gonna come. First you get the power, then the money, then you get the but yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But Kevin Samuels was a hell of a brother, and his message really resonated with a lot of folks, including women, because that's that reflection, looking in that mirror, like, what's up with me? What am I doing? How can I better myself? And he, and a lot of things Kevin Samuels did too. He reflect like on the 60s and the 50s, when women were very petite, weighing 120, 110 pounds. And a lot of them take etiquette classes. That's something we have to bring back too. You have to bring back etiquette classes. I don't know when the last time y'all been on a date, but I've been on a few dates within the last 10 years, and it's a nightmare. A lot of chicks can't even eat in public without embarrassing yourself. And that's not just the women. I dated women on the upper echelon, and it's the same thing. You be like, damn, girl, what you doing there? Like, you know? So, yeah, that's my
Mr. Nice Guy, I want to hear your reply when you were laughing. I want to hear your...
I mean, it's a bunch of stuff, you know what I'm saying? But see, this is my problem. When I look at some of those shows of Kevin Samuels, I would see this female, and she's like, okay, you're saying that, first of all, I think it's terrible to say that, you know, reduce somebody to their height and their weight and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But if you're going to do that, then you sit there and go, well, hey, you know, you're not going to be able to get this. I get that. But what? Would you be even interested in that person? I'm just saying that a lot of these people that I saw on the show they were talking about, my ass would have been like, yeah, nah, I wouldn't even try to deal with her. And it was because of her mentality. So I'm just saying that the fact that you got hurt, she wasn't going to get those people anyway. Life was going to teach her those lessons. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like he made those people more desirable.
Not necessarily.
Nice guy. I want to address, when you say he deduced you to weight and size, it's not a deduction, it's an assessment. It's saying, okay, it's like somebody saying, I want to go to the military. The first thing they do is look at your weight and say, you got to lose so much pounds, you got to be able to do so many push-ups. It's an assessment. If you want to get in, this is what you got to do. And
the military requires athleticism. I mean,
yeah. So this is what, when you're talking about a woman, okay, you want a high value man?
Athleticism.
No, it does.
There's other attributes that it does require.
It does require.
Especially, you know, to a man, especially if as a woman, you're the standard of a man you want is of that of high value, you know. So then again, it's letting you know that, look, you know, you got to meet those qualifications. What are those qualifications?
His show wasn't for high value men, because, like he said, high value men get the pick of the litter. None of his advice did anything for them, because they get the pick of the litter. His advice was for the people reaching for that. Shouldn't have been.
That's not true, brother. That's not true. Because I'm telling you right now, it's telling you. So when it came to when the best counsel he gave the high value men was making sure that you understand, just because that you have this excess, you know, there's a standard you need to have, and there are criteria you need to look for, and then start introducing other dynamics that come in play that might help you lose that value. You know what I mean? So he has something for everybody. And
pick
he took
of the litter. They got the pick of the litter.
Real quick. Shout out to Say It Out Loud 11. I want to address your question and bring it to the panel. I think it's a good question. He says, after Samuels, men got worse towards black women after that. Do y'all feel that that's true?
Can I respond to that first? The reason why I think there's teeth to this assessment, I'm not saying it's like the factual truth, but I'm just saying the reason that there's teeth to it is because he presented women that, in my opinion, they weren't low value females because of their height and weight or something like that. It was literally women that were like really mentally messed up. So I think that I suspect that it's fair to say that a lot of men were looking at these examples, these train wreck examples, and thinking like that's what's like the majority of what's out there. That's the norm. as opposed to the exception. Now, I'm saying that he was grabbing the exception. I'm hoping that he was grabbing the exception, but he's definitely grabbing the exception as far as what I personally interacted with. So my point is that's what I'm saying.
Gentlemen, if I could respond too real quick, is that I believe that if you
nice got to complete my thing, but go ahead.
I'm sorry, my bad, brother.
It would have been nice to complete my thing, but
finish, nice guy. Finish.
Go ahead.
I'm just saying. All I'm saying is that I felt like he was giving, in my opinion, he was giving a lot of good advice to people that needed it. That was fundamentally what his show was. I do think that it was like Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer, in the beginning, he was like Sally Jesse Raphael. He was like a thoughtful, caring. These were like real sort of like whatever shows. Then he realized, wait a second, we can just be bombastic and have fights every show, and I'm going to go through the roof. And that's what he went to. And I'm just saying that, look, the people on Jerry Springer, I hate to say it, but they were kind of terrible examples of humanity. You know what I'm saying?
This example is a terrible example of an example.
And what I'm saying that the people that he was exploiting were like bad examles of sisters out there. He was exploiting them by putting them on there. So that's what I'm saying.
Let's do the next address the question. The question. Let me not the question I posed, but it's based off of what
put it back up there real quick. It was a great question because first of all, whoever asked this, and say it out loud, is that like if you encounter a sister and she, is a really aggressive and and feeling like she was getting treated worse towards from black men, it's probably use it as a litmus test because it's probably because she has a very rebellious spirit. Honestly, or worst case scenario, a misunderstanding, because again, when you're dealing with Kevin Samuels, I can understand where some of the rhetoric he talked about, really kind of hurt people's feeling, like when he started calling people leftover women, which is like a woman that, 35 years old, and older, at that point, but they haven't had children or anything, like that at that point. So again, since he was dealing with this rebellious spirit, he had to be real harsh and straight up and forward, to these type of women. So the ones that feel like, that they were starting to really treat worse is probably because when men were bringing certain truths to them, there was a lot of a pushback, that they were getting, and then it tends to, at that point, lead to arguments, and the whole 9 yards, but I think if anything, if things, got better, and are still getting better right now, because again, if people understand the dynamic, if the women, if they took anything from Kevin Samuels, I would say take the accountability part of it from him, where he said, look, you control who you have sex with. The men control who they marry, but you control who you have sex with. And then, stop right there, and that'll solve a lot of challenges right then and there. But some women, they want to argue about the obvious, even on that situation, and then when it comes to talk about, let me stop right there. Let me allow someone else to speak. Go ahead.
Well, it's hard as hell. You can't tell sisters shit. We all deal with black women. You can't tell a chick like, hey, wait for me at the store. I'm pulling up right now. She bitch gone already. Excuse me, like, I'm sorry. Now, did we get meaner toward women? I agree with you, nice guy. There is teeth to that, because I remember hearing this from this guy named Brother Smart. He's a good brother. He's real intellectual dude. Where he said all them ghetto, loud, ratchet, hood rat chicks, just leave them alone. If they need your help moving, don't even answer the phone. Don't do nothing for them. But then, as I was doing my research for this show, I heard Kevin Samuel say that about 5, 6 when he was the nerd looking like Poindexter. He said that. He said he just used them for content, and I think I'm helping people. So his message is definitely carry on. So did we get meaner or toward women? We just leaving them the fuck alone, bro.
Damn. Just like that. Hey, I'm trying to find a horn. Oh, that was a horn. That was a horn. But all right, so we at the halfway mark. I'm gonna jump to the commercials, and I think we're gonna have to do a part 2, because we got to talk about the war and what's going on in the world. Salute to
Oh man, I can't get a 9 red flags of dating. So much stuff I have.
I know you got more, Walk. I know you got more. But
I mean, we don't have a show after this. We can, if you want to do a little overtime. I mean,
we just talking. We want to move on. Come on, nice guy.
La Brea Trucking for all your trucking needs. You want to go to East Coast to West Coast, West Coast to East Coast, North to South, South to West. Call the brother. You need something delivered, transported. Call the U.S. Army. You need some troops transported to the airport. Call the brother. Call La Brea Trucking. He'll transport them to the airport so you can send them to Iran to die for some dumb shit. Call the brother. Call La Brea Trucking.
That's gobealive.org. Go get you some of that black honey. And if you want it in person, go to the Petty Vice in Venice or to the Afro City Marketplace at the Crenshaw Mall. Salute, Sister Nidra.
Peace and blessings. For those of you who haven't come to 2251 Florin Road, Suite 111, and got your issue of the fiberless fava bean pie, you are missing out. These have just come out the oven and they're on their way to the shop right now. So come on through and get your issue of the world's greatest pie. The pie that literally makes you high. Peace and blessings.
Go to the Market Square, get you some bean pie. They got a whole bunch of black businesses there. The owner of the whole building is black. He is selling the building, but the owner is black, and it's a black-owned business, a whole bunch of black-owned businesses within the African Square. Go there. The Florin Square is what it's called. Go there. It's on, if you're in Sacramento area, go check them out. Support the black businesses. It's good quality business. It's not no nigga shit. It's quality business. It ain't gonna be that nigga shit. Okay, let me move forward.
I've been there. It's a fly place. It's inspirational. Bring your kids. It's fly. Just even walk through the whole thing.
Yeah.
You are muted, brother. You've been muted.
The scoreboard. Sacramento.
Thank you, nice guys.
Brother light skin right now.
Scoreboard and Lounge, 7123 Franklin Boulevard. Go check them out. Black-owned business. Great food, great drinks, great environment. 9 TV screens on the walls. A pool table if you play pool. You want to take me challenge me some pool and get your ass whipped. Hit me up. I'll go down there and whip your ass real quick. All right, let's get back to the business. We go Kevin Samuels, or we moving on? What we doing?
We're moving on. Let's move on. We're going to do a part 2. Rest in peace, Kevin Samuels. Happy birthday, brother.
All right, Mr. Nice Guy. Where we at, Nice Guy? Our resident show manager who makes shit happen and keep the process going. Everybody loves Nice Guy. They say Nice Guy doing a nice job. Get Jason off the screen. He fucking up the show. That's what they be saying.
No. Listen to Walk. Walk says it.
Nice Guy, my best friend. Yeah. Wait, I got a new best friend. Hey, I got a new best friend. Hey, Umar, my best friend.
Omar.
Whatever the fuck his name. That's my nigga though.
Omar.
That's my nigga.
Afro-agnostic.
Omar, brother agnostic.
Brother.
That got shit to do with the story I just told. Anyway,
Where that other one? That other one is the one.
So all right. So anyways, but Walk actually came up. This is a great topic. Since we're talking about Kevin Samuels and talking about relationships, we want to talk about some wedding logistics because Walk, why don't you set the table? Why did you even bring up this whole thing about the wedding?
Oh, I was listening to the radio and Kiss FM, and the girl was talking about how it's a story that's going around where a couple is getting married. And the bride, it's a bride. She said it was a good idea to send to all the people the invitations. If you're going to go to the reception, send $75 for your plate to eat. And that was like, then the question was, if you got that invitation and they said that, would you go to the wedding? Me personally, If I got that, I'm gonna start with me then. If I got that, which I got a wedding invitation right there from my favorite black woman that I love so much, my little sister, I definitely would be like, I would pay that. I would pay that, and I would be like, I would figure that the money is kind of low or something because weddings are very expensive. I might be getting married next year. And I'm like looking at the price for everything, which I told my chick, like, yo, this shit is expensive. If you get married in the city where you living at and all that stuff, it's gonna be about a good $30,000 if you want to have a decent wedding. Real talk.
$30,000 for a wedding.
30, and that's on the middle maybe end. Now you can do some BS if you want. I had my second wedding. I had a destination wedding, which was in Niagara Falls, and somebody on the show was my best man. Salute, brother. And that actually was cheaper because a lot of people didn't show up.
Yeah.
That's a commercial or something.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now let's get to the gift.
Yeah.
So let's get to the gift.
Yeah, because the thing about you bring that up about big spending because especially in traditionally the father's supposed to pay for a lot of this stuff, so that can be like real crazy. But if just to ask the question about the $76, I would probably not go unless it was like a really close person. I just send a gift. I'm like, I wouldn't want to waste $76 on a meal for me. I'd rather you just have $76 in your pocket. So, weddings are tough. You have limited space. There's all type of issues. You can only send invitations. Some people be butthurt. I tell everybody, look, you do not need to invite me. I'm going to still send you a gift. You know what I'm saying? If you do invite me, I'm probably going to go just because, you invited me. But I'm just saying, don't ever feel the need to invite me because these things are expensive. You got to make hard choices. And that's just not a type of thing that I really even are worried about. So, but that's some tough stuff. If you're charging $76 for the eat, I don't know, man. Maybe you guys should be thinking to me that seems like a whole lot. What you got to say about this? Okay,
let me speak on. Look, dude. Me personally, I love a good wedding. I love good wedding. I love young people. I'm irritated right now because a lot of young people around me are not getting married. I'm like, what the hell is going on? What are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? Y'all just chilling, living the single life, the male and female, both of y'all. I'm like, what the fuck? I'll just be a rich auntie. Get out here with that shit, please. Get married, raise a family, because I ask young people, man, weren't you happy having a bunch of little cousins around you? Yeah, I was. Yeah, if people wasn't getting married and having babies, that wouldn't have been there. It would have just been you. You'd have been that single child looking for friends at the school ground. Listen, man. Weddings are a beautiful thing, and wedding logistics. If somebody asks for $75 for a plate, I'm paying $75. I want to be there, and I'm paying the money. I want to witness a good wedding. I got a wedding I miss. I've been to a wedding where they served the food and we were standing in line, the buffet to get your food. There was no meat. They had scraps of meat in the rice. And then when I had my plate, walked to the table, like, what the fuck is this shit? And I look at the wedding party. The wedding party had a leg and a thigh with them. I'm like, how they only get meat? I'm sorry, brother, that's only for the wedding party. I was like, what kind of bullshit is this shit? And I was pissed. And I went home. I came home. I told my daughters, if y'all get married, you better involve your parents to make sure that you're going to have a good wedding and everybody eats. You don't go to no wedding and feed some and not others. Never do that. Always feed everybody. Make sure it's enough food for everybody. That's all I'm going to say on it. I love weddings. Everybody should be getting married because I believe that every child on the planet deserves a home with a mother and a father in it. Every child deserves that.
Right, Student X, what you got to say? Would you go under those circumstances? What would you do?
I mean, it all depends. If I like the person, is that serious? It was in close proximity. There was some other things. But look, on the real, is that I'm probably the wrong person to ask because I'm like the least traditional person. Period. Not only have I been married for 30 years, but I haven't. We never had it. We never had a wedding. So I don't know for not having a wedding, you know what I mean?
That was for 30 years. That was 30 years.
Right. Because not only do we not do a wedding, but guess what else we didn't do?
No ring.
No ring. Fuck it. You know what I mean? Because
my thing ain't got no ring. How did you get the thing? I thought they said no ring, no thing.
No. My whole thing was, was that look. First of all, when we were so young, we were never going to have a wedding anyway. But even when we got older, and had the opportunity to, we looked at the resources that it would take to spend and utilize for that rings a whole 9 yards. And we was like, man, look, we could just take this money and we could flip it, you know what I mean, and utilize it for something else. And we always just start pushing, those things back, and we just never got around to it. You know what I mean? Because that was the level of importance it was for us. Now, having said that, I've been to weddings and I've had fun at weddings, you know what I mean? For sure, but, so I have nothing against weddings, but, I would tell young people, to just, we had real close family and friends. We got together, did dinner, went to the courthouse and whatnot, you know what I mean? But yeah, you know what I mean? Well, we didn't do all that. And I think it was, especially if resources are tight in the beginning, it's a wise thing to consider, but then look at how you utilize those resources, that you would.
I got married at a courthouse.
No, we're gonna come back. We're gonna talk about
I got married.
We're gonna come back to that. Before you do that walk, I'm gonna come right back to you. But El Poo, give your take on the 76, and then we're gonna talk about the fact that we're gonna talk just about what you're talking about.
$76 a plate is we talking about, right?
Yep, $76.
$76 a plate. I don't know where they came up with that from, but I'll say it like this: if I'm paying for a plate at a wedding, you better have Stevie Wonder playing some Ribbon in the Sky, have some entertainment, maybe some Cat Williams up there or something. You know what I'm saying? And I don't expect no Church's chicken and some French fries. So I'm just saying, I'll be a little upset if it was something like that.
And let me just say this for the record. For the record, my wedding, I did not spend over $1,000.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So I was giving Walk the first. That's exactly what we're going to talk about. I wanted to give Walk the first bite.
When people talking $30,000 a wedding, that sounds far outrageous, outlandish to me.
Yeah. Student X jumped into it because that was going to be the next leg. But go ahead, Walk. You got the floor, brother.
When I got married to my oldest son's mom, March 1st. That was March 1st, 2002. That wedding was $50. I got married. I paid my sister to get my hair done. I think that all went together too. So it was like $20. No, I'm just kidding. Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. Damn, that was bad. But anyway, hold on. I'm sorry. No, I got married at courthouse. Floyd X was mad at me. My big brother was mad. Everybody was mad. I didn't invite my mom and dad.
So disrespectful.
They was pissed. I didn't think it was that big of a deal because we was thinking about having another wedding, like a big wedding. And then my stupid ass went to prison. So that's why like now.
And then you got married in prison. Go ahead, sorry.
That's not a shit. You ain't shit, man.
That was a good one. But see, here, my Bubba was. But here's it. That's why I feel like weddings are for the woman. Weddings are for the whatever they want. You as a man, you should give them that. Whether it's they say I want to have a big fucking wedding, I want goddamn Brian McKnight singing at the wedding. Whatever they want, you should. Because men, we really don't care if it's really kind of left up to us. But if you really want to please that woman and give her a good wedding, you got to do that. And you can't be charged for the place. If you need help, you got to say something. Like I know I got a big family. Now, if I know who I can holler at, be like, look, man, it's kind of showed up in here about this wedding I'm doing. My people's gonna come through for me, but a lot of people don't have that. Like I know I come through for people if you really need it, because I feel like when people ask you, they really are in need. You got to be a low down ruthless vato if you just ask them for shit just to put it in your pocket and be like, yeah, I came up $75,000. Like that.
I agree with that.
All right, so go ahead, Mr. Footex.
I just want to say I would rather for people to ask. And I'll have no problem giving to make sure it's a good wedding. I would rather you ask, and I'm going to make sure what I got to offer, I'm giving it.
And them bad weddings stand out. I done been to. I ain't gonna put that out there, but I've been to good, beautiful wedding ceremonies where the reception was over here, the wedding was way over here, all that stuff. It's like, well, you got to drive. We going to the reception now, and then you've been to some rinky-dink shit. Like, really, this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
And you know what? I kept pressing the button. It wouldn't work for you, Walker. When you said that weddings are for women and give them what they want on that. All facts. Go ahead, Mr. Footex. I got some stuff to say after you, but go ahead. Do you want to talk about like what you spent, what you did?
As far as my wedding go, again, you do not have to spend $30,000 on a wedding. It's a nice wedding, and it wasn't no nigga shit. My wedding wasn't no nigga shit. I was planning it out. I was budgeting. I was preparing, and then my wife's family like, hey, you have it up here, we'll pay for it. I said, okay. I dropped everything. Said, okay. It's going to be in Sacramento then. And then we had the wedding in Sacramento. They did all the things. They went and got the food, found the church, got married at, and the reception. Everything was wonderful. My family had a good time. Her family had a good time. There was no complaints. You don't got to spend $30,000 on a wedding unless you're going to do like walking nice guy them say, give the women what they want. If that's what you want to do, do it. If you can do it, do it. But don't break your back or your neck. Be like Student X and do it the way he did, non-traditional. You can do it. It's your choice. As a couple, y'all decide what y'all want to do.
I totally disagree with Floyd. I want that fade with my brother. I'm sorry. I need that fade because I know his beautiful wife. I know how he is. If she wanted that, you would have gave that to her, brother. Quit.
I just said it. I say, if you're like them, do what the woman wants. It's for the women. I agree with that. If my wife was like, no, we need this, but she was okay with what we did. We had a wonderful, beautiful wedding. If she wanted more, she would have got more. She wanted less, she would have got less. That's just what it is.
Now, typically, the way rich folk do it is that the daughter's family pays for it. I mean, that's traditionally how it goes. So just in case, some of us didn't know that.
Yeah, that's what we talked about, and that's why. That's why. Go ahead.
Real talk. I did not know that when I got married. I didn't know that traditionally the women's. I did not know that for real. Nobody never told me that. I just knew that me and my wife wanted to get married. Okay, I'm working. Let me go look for places to go get married at, and whoop-de-whoop. And I thought we were supposed to make everything happen. I did not know the women's family paid for it.
Yeah, it's usually the father. That's why he gives away his daughter to the husband. So
okay, gotcha.
But in my situation, to to my current wife, you know, we were in an apartment and we knew we were going to get married and all this other stuff. And I said, look, we can do this. We can have a big wedding, or what we can do is buy a house, go to the courthouse, do the little chapel thing. They got a little chapel that you can rent out, and then just do a reception in the backyard of the house that we purchased. You know, these are your options. You want to do this, or we can do this. And I appreciated the fact that she was like, nah, let's get a house. That's what we did. We got a house. We went to the courthouse. Like, we spent like probably maybe about $600, you know, $700 as far as, you know, the wedding, as far as not the dresses. Her dress cost like over $1,000. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the rings cost whatever the rings cost. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was practical, and it wasn't something about breaking us. It was about something like, if we're going to do something, let's do something that helps the family. You know what I'm saying? It's sort of like going to school and getting this big student loan debt, you know what I'm saying, to start off your life. Why start off with a whole bunch of big debt, you know, after your marriage? So I will say this, my daughter, she had a big wedding. It was a great wedding. And rumor has it that I may have dropped her in the father-daughter dance. I will not confirm nor deny that that was the case. But she weighs a little bit different than what I anticipated when she was a little kid. And I suppose maybe I'm a little bit weaker than I was when I was young.
Wow. So father of the bride, how much did you have to pay for her wedding?
I didn't pay. She did it. She financed it. Her and her husband, they financed it. She used to watch those TV shows like the bride shows and all of this stuff. So she planned that stuff out. She did all of that stuff, you know, whatever. So I mean, you know, she did that. But it was a great wedding. It was a great moment. I apologize for maybe dropping her, like they say, you know what I'm saying, but still, you know. But you know what though? But it created a great opportunity for me to see Brick Walls. That was the last time we all got together and we had a great time. So, you know, it's been, you know, that just made it even more special. But go ahead, Brother Walk, what were you saying?
But you know, that tradition of the family pays for the wedding for the daughter is because that's from the time where people were having a lot of kids, and it was like you're trying to get your daughters married off because you know the boys is good. That was really like an incentive back in the day. That's like a lot of these sayings and traditions, they stem from somewhere. I'm just a type of guy that look them up.
It makes sense.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
So,
like
boy,
listen, cousins.
Go ahead, Apu. What you about to say?
I got married one time. Guess what we did? We jumped the broom.
Yep. There you go.
Like that.
Was the broom a rental? Was the broom a rental? It's like, nah, that's my broom shit. Yeah. So, hey, congratulations on Walk. This is two great topics. They just dominated, darn near fulfilled the whole show like that. I don't know if you want to do some drive-bys. You know what? Let's do this. Let's give a RIP to Lord Sear. You know, Lord Sear was a DJ that worked with Eminem as one of his hosts on his show on his radio channel on satellite. You know, the 45 Shade 45. And you know what I'm saying? These dudes are still keeping underground hip hop going. You know, it's a travesty. I think this brother was like 52, 53. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's kind of like with Kevin Samuels. I mean, you know, we dying young out here, and it's sad, you know. But you know, that's a whole nother show about
Lord Sear Lord Sear wasn't assassinated, but Lord Sear was a guy like me, and he's had his drink that he used to drink, Hennessy and Welch's grape. I don't like it like that. I like Cavassier or Hennessy with cranberry juice. But I salute that brother, Lord Sear. I've been listening to Lord Sear for the last like 15 years since XM Radio. And he was always on there laid back, clowning with Rude Jude, funny, talking shit. And I'm gonna tell a quick story. Can I tell this quick story?
Oh, yeah, please do.
Where they had Scarface on, and Rude Jude was talking about effing chicks, and then Lord Sear said to Rude Jude, he said, would you go into Rude Jude was talking about he'll go to a public bathroom, gas station, don't even wipe the seat, and just sit down and take a poop or whatever. And then Lord Sear was like, well, what's worse, doing that or having unprotected sex with a total stranger? And Scarface was like, that's a good question. Which one have you done? Ooh.
Nah, that toilet thing is way worse. I mean, well, put it this way: the other thing is more dangerous. But
that's what I'm saying. You know? That's what I'm saying. But he asked Scarface, which one is worst, and which one have you done? Nobody gonna know goddamn public restroom. Just sit the fuck down there.
Institutionalized dudes.
Hey, Walt, you sure he didn't say which one was worser?
Oh man,
exactly.
I forgot my little
rest in peace, Lord Sear. So,
and
you know,
go ahead.
I was gonna say we can cover a few things, but we'll just real quickly. This moron just drove up to Rihanna's house and shot shots into her house. And I mean, you know, it's this is one of the reasons, like literally me and my wife were like making it like bedroom moving around decisions. And we both were like, well, we're not going to be facing this. This is the shoot up wall. This is way before, even for the Rihanna thing. I'm just saying that you can't even be living like right off the street. Like, I mean, in the bedroom right off the street, exposed and stuff like that. So it's just like, you know, I mean, it's just crazy. And with these celebrities, they usually be kind of like have dated and all this other stuff. I don't know how she accomplished it, whatever, but I mean, it's just utterly ridiculous. I hope that they throw her under the bus, that she never touches down. But I'm glad that everybody was safe.
The story is she drove all the way from Florida to shoot up Rihanna. I don't know what was the motive, but she drove. She's facing 14 charges.
Was she wearing a diaper?
Damn.
Them people from Florida is crazy, man. The people from Florida, they drive straight from Florida. They be like, I'm going to wear a diaper. I'm come to LA and I'm going to spin the block. But go ahead. What'd you say?
But she's looking at 14 charges, and the DA, the DA, I don't know who that DA in LA, he's an idiot. I watched his press conference. That dude's an idiot. I don't think he's going to convict nobody, but he's talking about she could be facing life in jail behind this shit. Because there was people in the house. She shot at the gate. None of it made it past the gate. Thankfully, she's rich and got a big-ass gate, and a camper was sitting out front. They was in the camper. It was her. Her mama was there. ASAP Rocky was there. And they all could have been victims of this woman who just decided to shoot up Rihanna's house. And, you know, so thankfully nobody got murdered or killed.
Don't forget the kids was there, too.
The kids was there too. Yeah,
that's why they can extend it like this. These are kind of like, you know, there's a lot going on with this, and the fact that you drove out there for that, I mean, there's some. This person is facing some real exposure, so you know we'll see how it plays out. But you know,
if she would have been Jasmine Crockett's security guard, she would have got killed.
Damn.
Oh yeah. Now he wasn't killed while working for her, but yes, he was someone that she employed as a security guard, and he basically fabricated his credentials and accomplished being her security guard. But you know the police basically were after him, and there was a big old situation. He pulled out the gun on him, and that was that. So you know.
Damn, I never heard that story.
That just happened. So yeah, that really did happen.
Drive-bys, let's go.
So also let's talk about this prank situation. So Walk is somewhat of a prophet because they done dropped the charges on these kids. And what happened was, you know, they some kids went to their teacher's house and TP'd it. They just did a prank, and something happened through the course of their trying to escape. You know, he ends up getting ran over and killed. Which is an absolute trash. He ran outside.
See what was going on, and they was skirting off trying to get away, and they didn't see him or something. And he got ran over and killed. And his family said that they don't want charges brought against those people because they love that man, that teacher.
They even said that he was laughing about it, like he thought it was funny that the whatever. It's just that, you know, and the thing that they argued was saying that the kids weren't negligence, that it was truly an accident, you know, and that's what I was saying. If it was reckless negligence, to me, you get the hammer. If it was some clear few where you weren't being irresponsible and something terrible happened, you know, Walk brought up an example of someone who wanted to commit suicide. They throw themselves in front of your car. That ain't got nothing to do with something that you did. It's a tragedy and it's terrible.
But you probably got to look at the dynamic of their driveway or where they live, to where it's like, oh shit, I probably almost ran somebody else over before on this street, because you know what I'm saying. That's probably what they took into account. So you can't just look at it from they made a joke and then they running away and then they ran the dude over. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot probably took into this.
Yeah, it's a tragic accident, but what I was inspired by was that they came up with a way that they didn't just drop the charges. The teens are going to honor the memory of the teacher, and one of them said that they were going to live out the rest of their life, in the teacher's honor. So.
But y'all do know if it was one of us.
Exactly. White privilege.
It's hard to say, if you live in a tight knit community like that, and like I said, this was a tragic accident.
Let me be back and I run over somebody. Y'all ain't gonna see me again ever.
Yeah.
At the very least, there should have been murder 3, involuntary manslaughter.
But we'll see how it's play out. So the bottom line is it's a tragedy. My condolences to their family. It seemed like they lost a good teacher, and those students lost a good teacher. So let's talk about what's up. And you got the video. Why don't you cue up the video for us, Mr. Floyd X?
Yeah.
So this is Tretch's and Peppa's daughter.
Yep. Here we go, right here.
I hope y'all got
some bruising on the arm, so of James. He just clubbed. You're knocked out of the air. It's just from James Jones in her Misfits debut. Incredible. On the button. I just said it. She went.
All right, look. She's working hard to get her name out there. That's why I put. We ain't gonna say Tretch and what's her name's daughter.
Peppa.
Her name is Egypt Chris. She was on Growing Up Hip Hop, and I used to watch that show. I used to like it with all the little rappers, children, and stuff like that. It was a good show to me.
The rappers Tretch and Peppa.
So she called herself the Princess of Hip Hop or something like that. But she went out there, and the lady she fought was an Olympic champion or Olympic fight. I don't know if she was a champion, but she was in the Olympics. And let me pull this picture up. The size difference, I wouldn't want my daughter to go up against this woman to fight. And they did the fight, and I think that was the first round when she got knocked out. The sister is young and in shape, but that tall-ass Caucasian lady just knocked her out like in the first round.
That's Amazon.
Yeah, Tretch was disgusted and pissed off because his daughter is married. They got married on the show and all that stuff. He was pissed off and called that dude a lowlife who was making a name off of his daughter. And he like, how you gonna let my daughter get into that and get her beat like that? So he was pissed off at the dude.
And he threw Peppa under the bus too. Peppa.
Who? Because Peppa, she was at the match. She was ringside. She watched it.
Yeah.
So how did he throw on the bus? I didn't get that.
Because he was like, from all the lies that she told about him, beating her up and all this stuff. Tretch, that's why I said I hope y'all have Tretch response to it. But he spoke about Peppa, the whole side of the family, with Peppa, to what they the lies they told, and it's all been under their tutelage. Okay. Sort of like my situation. Let me stop. But yeah, but it's like when you have no control on what's going on with your little girl.
Yeah.
You know
nobody wants to see their daughter get knocked out like that. But yeah.
When do the entertainers say you're not going to be? They're just drifting and doing stuff. Get a freaking degree, go to school, or you ain't getting no money from me. Period. That's what should happen. Look at her. Why is she doing this?
You talking about the famous parents?
Famous parents should do that with their children. Like T.I., with his kids, everybody rapping and they're all trash.
Hey, man, I'm going to take it back to the spirit of Kevin Samuels, man. This is accountability, man. This is on the system, man. She jumped in that goddamn ring and got knocked the hell out. You know what I mean? No man put her there. You know, she decided to do that. You know, a black woman is this, that, and girl, black power and all this other type of stuff until something go wrong, and then we got to blame somebody at that point. You know what I mean? She made the choice.
Limelight. She wants some
out. It's on her.
She don't have nothing else going on, brother.
But hey, look. She went on Instagram and she said She glad she stepped in the ring. She appreciated the opportunity. She said that was her first foot stepping in the water. She ain't talking about this, and she ain't making no claims, and she's being accountable, in my opinion. I watched the video, and she said, "Hey, I'm gonna be back in there. This is my first. I know what I need, and I'm gonna be back in there." And
That girl like 30 years
there
old.
it is. But she definitely going against what her dad then he promoted, I'm sure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So but you can't tell women certain things at a certain point. If they get something in their head, then that's what they're gonna do. You know what I mean? And so hey, as a man, you gotta, you gotta basically, disattach from that situation. Otherwise, you're gonna put yourself inside a position, you know what I mean, to where now you might have to face consequences, you know what I mean, for your emotions. So
salute to JC, founding Focus Up father. So what's up up there? So
hey, let's talk about the war, man. Let's talk about this idiot Trump, man.
Let's talk about the war. Before we talk about the war, let's just get this out there. You don't even have to play this video. Let's just get it out there. Bam Adebayo scored 83 points, and you know what? I want to give Student X. I like his take. What'd you feel about this? I want to say this before he does. I want to say that look, 83 points is 83 points. It isn't an accomplishment, but go ahead, Student X. What you got to say about it?
No, it's just like anything else. How you accomplish something matters. And I watched Kobe's game, that 81-point game live. I never will forget it. I was watching it, and I was living in a duplex. My neighbor, next door is my boy. And then come the second quarter, I pick up the phone. I'm like, dude, Kobe looked special tonight, man. Turn on the TV. And then he went for the 81, and like I said, that game was competitive. In fact, the Lakers were down, They
were down 18. They were down 18.
I mean?
And then they won 18.
It was amazing. It was fun, And then when I heard Bam score the 83, now look, full disclaimer, diehard Kobe fan, that's my dude. But when I heard Bam had broke the record, I was excited. I'm like, oh man, Bam broke Kobe's record? Oh, man, I know how Kobe did it, man. How did he do it? So I wanted to go see how it was done. Man, and then when I watched and observed, man, totally disappointed, man. You know what I mean? All things are saying
it was trash.
Yeah, he got a couple more points than Kobe, man. But man, that game was nowhere near on the same level as what Kobe did that day at all.
They said 40 other points was free throws.
That's
come on, man.
But if you were legitimately fouled, I don't want to. I hate to take away from the free throws. My takeaway from this is that look. Your team your team is up big, and you guys are fouling the other people to stop the clock, to prolong the game, to run up the score. That's fundamentally not okay in basketball.
Yeah,
they literally don't want you. They do not want you when the game is basically decided and the shot clock is off. It's the fourth quarter. They want you sitting on the ball. If you take a shot and you're up, there's gonna be words. There's gonna be almost like a fight type situation. You know what I'm saying? There's just certain protocols that you don't do. It's just like a dude that wants a triple double, and so what he does is to get his triple double, he misses on purpose to get his own rebound. You know what I'm saying? It's cheesy. So I'm just saying that that's all I said. I still salute the fact that 83 points is still 83 points, but also go, that was kind of cheesy right there. But it definitely wasn't on the same level.
El Poo, what's your take, El Poo?
I think Luka did a better job with the Bills. With the Bills the other night when he got 51 points, 10 rebounds, and 9 assists.
9 assists. Yeah. Wow. Didn't even need to get the 10 to just get another triple double situation. And that was a competitive game. Go ahead.
Let's keep it with the topic again. Okay, he scored 83 points. Kobe scored 81. People was talking about Will Chamberlain with the 101. He playing a bunch of white
100.
boys. And he's doing this and that. Records are made to be broken, baby. The goal is 101. That's it.
No, let me push back on that. The thing is that you're right. Is that Wilt Weckler has been criticized because it was errors, right? And that error, he was so dominant in what the situation was. He had games like that on a regular, you know what I mean? He had other games that were real similar, so that's why Kobe's record was looked at more authentic because it was in this era, it was against real competition in a real game, you know what I mean? So that's why people are feel like his record got broken. You know what I mean? When it wasn't even a record, technically it's Wilt. Yeah, technically Wilt had the record. You know what I mean? Kobe was number 2 on the list. But like I said, it felt more legitimate because of the era, that we're in and got accomplished in it. And like I said, I don't have respect for what Bam did and how that game was played and done. You know what I mean? That's whack. You know what I mean? So I mean, I know it goes in the record book, but it's definitely an asterisk, no doubt about it.
Do next. Let me ask you this question. Okay, now, when Kobe got that 81, do you think there was people like, oh man, they should have did this, they should have did that, they could have double teamed him, and he quietly got 81?
He was double teamed.
When Kobe did it, man, let me explain to you, man.
Wait, slow down. Let me get one that time.
Go ahead, Stu next.
When Kobe did it, bro, he did it. He was 20. He had 46 shots taken from the field, made 28. You know what I mean? Go look at what Bam did. So this Kobe is a shooting guard. Bam is a damn power forward. He's supposed to have over 50% shooting inside of a game. Bam didn't have that. Kobe 7-13 from 3-point land, and then when it comes to free throw lane, 18-20. The second half, Kobe had 55. They down. Kobe had to look up and rise to the occasion. Had 55 points the second half, 26 the first half. They were playing. The Heat were playing the worst team in basketball. The worst team. You know what I mean? Right now, for those that fall basketball, they're the worst team. You know what I mean? Like I said, nowhere near the same level.
The Raptors were good. The Raptors were good. They were up. I want to stress, they were up 18 points. The Lakers ended up winning by 18. 18 reverse is 81. If you want to be on some conspiracy types, you should put up the conspiracy warning. But I'm just saying that the bottom line is that was a competitive game. That was an exciting game, and it wasn't cheesy. He was up in a game with the Mavericks. He had, through 3 quarters, he had outscored the entire other team. And they were like, do you want to go in there back in there? He goes, man, the game's already decided. No point. You know what I'm saying? So, again, I don't mind a guy going for it. If it's there, go get it. With Kobe, they were riding the hot hand. They literally had a fast break, and they were about to get a layup. They threw it out to Kobe for a 3-point shot, and he made it. So, again, you're feeding the hot hand. It's a different thing as opposed to forcing it. So, I'm just saying that it was a very exciting game. So it's different. Go ahead.
So now everybody got to say their piece. We gotta give Bam the floor and let him explain his piece. Everybody got to talk on it. Let's hear what he got to say about it.
It's not like I shoot 15 free throws a game. It's not like I average 10 free throws a game. You can watch the film. I was legitimately getting fouled every time. So I went to the free throw line. Some people are going to praise you because they're going to be like, 83 is 83, no matter how you get it. And there's other people that's going to say, well, it wasn't the way Kobe did it. And, you start throwing that around. And I'm like, listen, I'm a Kobe fan. I got close to his record. What do you think I'm going to do? Try to break it. I'm pretty sure if I had 81 and Kobe was on his way, he was not being like, you know what? I'm going to check myself out. With 9 minutes left and I got 70. Be serious.
All right, that was his take on it. So we want to move on, or what?
Yeah, let's talk about the war. Hey, right. Again, shout out to Bam.
I didn't hear nothing because everybody was talking. So I didn't hear nothing y'all said. But let's move on. More troops, more U.S. troops deployed to Iran.
He's still putting out his government. Jason,
now, who thinks that our U.S. soldiers are excited about going to war for Donald Trump? And they're being deployed. They say 22 to 2,500 more troops are being deployed on an amphibious ship. When I was in the Navy, I was on an amphibious ship, an amphibious assault ship. Those are the ships that they go in the water, they open up the back, and they let all the little boats out that go to the land, and they got like room and boarding for all the Marines. So they put all the Marines on the ship. I forget the capacity, but you could put all the boats and all of them on the ship. You get close to the land, open that back up. They jump on the little frigate boats and get out there and get to the land. So it's going to be a ground war. It looks like what Trump is doing. And I don't know of any soldiers who are like, come on, man, let's go over here so we could get this oil free and fight to get some oil and we start trading commerce. I don't know no soldiers who out there for that, but
I feel like the two people that serve should get first. The two people that serve should get first conversation about this. But to answer your quick question, the type of player, the type of people that where are the pictures? The type of people that basically that is going to be okay with this.
Damn, that's nasty as hell.
Go ahead, Walk.
Yes.
And thank you guys for your service.
Yeah. I totally think that's discussing the picture what you just put up. And I don't think that's what Trump supporters are. I'm not a Trump supporter, and I'm a military veteran. And I'm totally disgusted more by what Trump is doing than that fucking nasty ass discussing that thing you just put up on the phone. I think Trump is a war criminal, and he know it. He know he will be arrested and go to prison for this bullshit he doing. Did y'all heard what happened during the UN Council? Where everybody walked the fuck out. See, that's the shit we should be talking about on the fucking Focuz. But yeah, this is.
I don't remember you bringing that to the table. Hey, bring it to the table.
If anyone talking about Trump, we talk about Trump loses, Trump this. You sitting there complaining every time we talk about Trump.
Trump needs to be in fucking prison. It's disgusting what he's doing, and it's just a big bully mentality. I'm Israel. Floyd X is goddamn motherfucking the United States. That's why he's doing it. But he's the United States, and it's fucked up, and it's terrible what he's doing. And I'm not looking at it like it's lives being lost on the U.S. We are losing lives, but it was totally disgusting. He's just bullying them, and it's not going to his favor.
Infamous El Poo, what you got to say, brother?
Boy, oh boy. Let me go full Kanye on Trump right now. Trump is a pimp. His philosophy is putting money in his pocket. He's popular, an influencer, and making that paper. He's pompous, incoherent, manipulative, and proud. He's a payaso, incapable of making progress. Pimp, 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 pimp.
Damn. All right.
Student next.
Yeah. Well, first of all, we can't start talking about this war without, throwing a shout out to Netanyahu. Has anyone seen Netanyahu? You know what I mean? So chances are Netanyahu gone. You know what I mean? But not that it matters much. They're pretty hardliners. There. So the thing is, real quick.
Are you saying that you think he's dead?
Oh, he dead. He dead. You didn't see the Israel put an AI video out on him. He had 6 fingers on it and everything, all 9 yards. Man, he gone, bro. You know what I mean? We hadn't heard from him until then. So he's gone.
Another bet for you, my guy.
Yeah. So he's gone. But like I said, it means little. But I want to address what Brother Floyd was saying. In regards to Kerrang Island. I have a page that I'm sharing right now. It's from CENTCOM, where they're showing a footage, of the operation that they did there, and let me hit it again real quick so it'll come through. So you'll see.
Can you make it full screen?
Some footage of some hits. Yeah. Now keep in mind as you're watching this video, Trump then told us that they then obliterated every military target, on the island. You see an old airfield there that's not even in use. And then furthermore, if you were going to land troops, you got to land them somewhere because this is not, you can't take that island, or any part of Iran from the sea. You know what I mean? You're going to have to come in, you're going to have to come on land. And so if you're going to try to land on that airfield, you just took out the runway, so you're not going to land U.S. forces there, on the runway. As you see, no oil infrastructure was hit at all, which would have been total disastrous, for, it would have hurt Iran, but it would hurt the U.S. because geopolitically, all of the people that gets hurt, who are actually on her side. Because right now, what a lot of people don't understand is that the Gulf nations feel completely, totally betrayed. They watch how they got no help and no defense at all as they were getting, hit, in their infrastructure. There mainly was bases, but also some of their civilian infrastructure. If Iran had strategic targets there, which meant, any type of forces that were being utilized to, harm their nation. So right now, again, my last thing I'll say on this real quick, there's people have questions, is that they're not going to take Karain Island. Attempting it would be a suicidal adventure, and it's mainly because of the long range precision fires, the expanding air service and subsurface threats that it would take to get there, the degraded amphibious and auxiliary ship readiness, that the Marines are not going to be able to come in and utilize. And this goes way back to, General David Berger's comments. He broke it down where he said that, look, we cannot, the fact that we've been building our strategy on having a few large ships in our Navy, that is the new threats that exist now in the new battlefield. They're obsolete. They won't work, and so the United States never changed from that philosophy. And so their larger equipment are sitting ducks out there. That's why they have to keep and stay so far back. And even then, they still been able to get touched. You see what I'm saying? So America is not winning this, this fight. When I say America, I hate to even say that, because what it really is this Epstein regime. This Epstein regime is not winning this fight at all. And unfortunately, they're sending men and women, and putting other men and women in harm's way, for Israel and for something that does not benefit the United States of America at all. And I told you all that there's some consequences that I saw that were going to be, that will come to realization, as this progresses, but right now, it's unlikely that anything's going to happen. We can't, I promise I was going to end there, but real quick, don't forget about those KC-135 tankers, that they're taking hits. Now, the Trump administration is telling us they're crashing into each other in midair and one's going down. Look, these were hit on the ground. There's a fleet of 5. This is what's used to rearm, to refuel the airplanes, in between Israel and going to, Tehran, so without those, they can't even utilize the air missions, so I just want to say this, is that Iran, they are this is going to go down in the textbooks of how an empire ultimately was defeated, because they can't win like head to head. It's like Floyd Mayweather Jr. Remember when he went up in weight class, he wasn't knocking cats out. He was relying on speed and touching people a lot of times and winning on points and getting the victory. He wasn't knocking them out. The same is going to be true with Iran. She can't go toe to toe with America. That can't happen. So, but if you look at the strategy that's been deployed, man, it's going to be studied, and it is being studied right now by other adversaries such as Russia and China, and there's all type of intel that they're gathering. The future of the United States, is looking bleak. Despite what Trump is saying.
Okay, all right. So, what were you saying?
You're saying that American soldiers have no say so in this war.
When you say American soldiers, no.
That's what you said earlier.
Yeah.
That's what every leaders of different countries have. They are the ones politicking what goes on.
I mean, from what I understand, Walt, they can't follow unlawful orders like those senators put that message out, but it's a lawful order. If they tell you got to go to Iraq, you got to go to Iran, they got to go.
Exactly.
You simply don't have enough troops.
All 5 of us are in the same position. We sit here talking, but we have no say so on what goes on over there whatsoever. But I will say that America will be victorious in this fucked up bullshit ass, fake ass, just bullying a goddamn country.
So victorious like Afghanistan, like that, where we got into a war, they tried to get out, and ultimately put the Taliban back in power, including eventually having ISIS forces come to the White House that Trump shook hands with, that killed Americans, and now is in power in Syria? Like victory like that? Or are you talking about a different type of victory?
Just, I don't want a Tomahawk missile coming through my window over here.
Yeah, well, that's what's going to happen, because the thing is, when Iran is, they want now. I mean, they didn't put it out. They didn't put out, exactly. In fact, let me go to my notes here. Exactly what needs to take place right now. There's only three. It take place if the U.S. wants to end this war, because right now Trump and Israel is trying to stop this. They're going to pounce it.
You got me worked up, brother. What did they say that needs to be done? My hands is up. I'm not playing around. You said that they put what do they need to? What does Iran require?
Let me go through my notes. I don't want to misinterpret. There's three key principles. Here, I'm gonna go at the top of my head right now because I can't. I'm going through it right now. It'll probably pop up, but one of them, first and foremost, is that they were saying that withdrawal, right? A stop, and then they were saying that you're gonna have to pay us back for the destruction that you didn't cause. You know what I mean? Right? And then it was something. Oh, here it is. Okay, Central Command. Okay, here it is, right here. So, U.S. military withdrawal from the Persian Gulf. Period. 100%. Get the hell out. So eviction notice, and then like I said, that right there. Okay, this was in the full notes, but yeah. So basically, like I was saying, the geographic.
Gotta go.
Man, I got so much notes on here, man. I apologize, but basically they're saying get out. They're saying get out, pay us back for this damage you caused, and then it was one other one, but go ahead.
Okay, hold on. Okay, let me say one thing, bro.
Go ahead.
One thing, bro. The one say so that we do have is the power of your vote. That's why they're trying to move the Save America Act out to take that away from you. Yeah. So if your vote didn't matter, they wouldn't be trying to take it away from you. So that's all I got to say about that.
Just think about that, El Poo. They're literally holding people hostage, not paying salaries, just because Donald Trump is saying, look, we don't pass nothing unless this thing gets passed. We're not agreeing to nothing, because he's understanding that he's just not going to win a fair election. It's just, it's crazy.
So who vote is being suppressed?
Well, this is how the vote is being suppressed by making it. Yeah, I know. I'm asking you a question. So when you make it difficult for people to vote and discourage from people to vote, it will have an impact on them. So basically, people will stop voting. The people that they're discouraging from voting by, for example, you're talking about having to produce a passport, having to produce a marriage license, and having to produce ID, having to produce all of those things just to vote. You know what I'm saying? So what's going to happen is that not everybody's got access to a passport. Costs money. You got to go through hoops to get one. So the bottom line is,
do you really think people who are illegal are not voting, bro?
Let me ask you this: do you think
they're not? They're not voting to a point that's statistically significant. They're 100% not voting to a degree that's statistically significant. There's a thing called diminishing returns, and the bottom line is, if you have something that's 98%, authentic, you don't spend $1,000, you don't spend millions and millions of dollars just to get to 99%. That's diminishing returns. But go ahead, Elpo, you was about to say something.
Man, I forgot right now. Go ahead. Keep on going.
Yeah. So you're talking about discouraging the vote, and then you're talking. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Voter fraud. It's like 0.002%, something like that.
Exactly.
What's the campaign against voter fraud?
So, first of all,
why even introduce this at this time? Why, if it's not a problem?
Yeah,
I know I got an ID and I've been voting since 1992.
Exactly. So that's all you need, right?
Just an ID. But what about a passport?
Illegal motherfuckers who don't have what I have are voting as well.
They may show up, they may do something, but if their signature don't match whatever, that shit gets thrown out. There's checks and balances. Yeah, whatever. I'm just saying, you just it's the vote. Yeah, exactly, because you got to sign a thing. You got to sign a roll when you go to vote. You don't just whatever. But I'm saying that So normally what happens is they match you up, you go whatever, sign this thing, then they give you something to go, go in there and vote, and then you vote. So there's a process. But I'm just saying that the checks and balances have shown that as far as the fraud, there's nothing that moves the sways things one to the other. But when he start gerrymandering and you start drawing districts where basically now you're taking away the vote of the power of the community, because again, this is a republic. It's not just one person, one vote. Some people's vote actually gets skewed to like 1.2, and some people's vote gets skewed to 0.8. That's just the nature of it by the gerrymandering. So there's things that are being done to basically sort of like give them a better chance of winning. And it's nothing about it's nothing about pure voting. It's nothing about giving people a voice. It's literally about stacking the deck. What are you about to say, student next?
Yeah, I would say people are definitely always looking for advantages. I think what discourages the people from voting the most is just feeling like their vote doesn't matter. Like we're seeing in this case where people don't want to go to war, yet we're going to war. Those 3 points that Iran had brought up, in their framework in terms of they want to have a de-escalation, a ceasefire, is that first of all, they say America, Israel, we're going to have to recognize Iran's legitimate rights, which means their nuclear program aspects of it, self-defense, also the payment of reparation, the compensation for damage, losses, casualties inflicted during the conflict, and number 3, a firm international guarantee against future aggression. They're saying that's really the main thing, is that we stop, you guys come at us again. There's always, something that you all initiated. We're going to need a guarantee, some sort of, a treaty, whatever framework we're going to use, that's going to guarantee that you all, quit dealing with us, on that level, so, that's what it's going to take. And like I said, right now, who's pushing this more than anything is America and Israel, because, let's face it, is that Israel is a lot smaller than Iran. Iran's more just as sophisticated, and they are pounding the hell out of Israel, and Israel is going to be wiped out long before Iran is. And so
wait. You're talking about nuclear powered Israel is going to get wiped out long before Iran.
Conventionally, yeah. Because like I said, right now,
so Israel is just gonna take it. They got a stockpile of nuclear weapons, but they're just gonna allow themselves to get.
Well, no. I believe that's the threat, and that's what I've been saying. And from day one is that the threat is Israel in this situation. And I told you guys this from the beginning, is that you all were thinking that Iran was gonna just be not be able to hang. But they're gonna.
I don't think any of us said that. I don't believe any of us said that. But I'll say this. Hey, Walk. Do you want to take some of that action? He said that Netanyahu is alive or dead.
I do my own bet, bro.
Let me just say this much.
I got a $4,000 bet with this.
Oh
guy.
My goodness.
9,000. Now he know this. He has 100. Yeah. Trump fucked that off, though. Trump fucked that off.
There's enough of that Trump goop going around. Sip slowly, Walk.
Yeah. And look, also some controversy, though, is that, if there ever was any credence to Trump playing and being a 4 or 5D chess player, the wild thing about it is that everything he's doing is backfiring, and actually is good for the world, it was a trip, you know what I mean? And so it's wild, because it's like, Israel is getting beat the hell up. And right now that wasn't happening before Trump was in power. All right now that whole Gulf infrastructure and these people that's been ganging up, with America and not dealing with these Palestinians, justly, they're gonna beat up, and now their populations are starting to rise up against them. Right now I was looking at something right now where Iran is liberating Sudan right now, because the UAE, United Arab Emirates, was supporting a terrorist group in Africa there that was, getting advantage over the Sudanese army. But now the Sudanese army, now that, this war is happening and logistics are being cut off, they're gaining more ground. And so they're actually able to chase out and back up these terrorists, that's been funded by, America, Israel, and their proxies. So there's a lot of positive that's going across this whole world right now, and it wouldn't have happened underneath a Kamala Harris government at all. In fact, we would have been already in a nuclear exchange with Russia if she and that administration was involved.
Bullshit. Go ahead.
Hey, Putin would have been better than her. Ooh.
Look, since we talk about the war, I want to bring this clip up. Bill O'Fucking-Riley. I can't stand it. He's old. I'm sorry. I can't stand it, but I want to play this clip that he did. And
we'll do it live.
Yeah, I want to listen to this shit.
Because how many service members die? How long does it take? I mean, that's why even the IDF says
that's just immature,
it doesn't take 3 weeks.
Look, if you know anything about war, that's just immature. Those questions are sophomoric and stupid and a waste of everybody's time. Nobody knows.
How many people die is as stupid, and so you sound like somebody who doesn't have anybody in the service, Bill. Because let me tell you something. If you were worried about him not coming back, it's not sophomoric. It's not stupid. You have families who are never the same because of the price of the commitment.
The stupid ass statement. He said it doesn't matter how many gonna die.
Dude, look at that panel. War. They had Bill O'Reilly and Stephen A. Throw that whole broadcast away.
Throw that whole broadcast.
I have not seen Bill O'Reilly in like fucking 10 years.
Hey,
that nigga look like the Crypt Keeper.
Yeah. I was happy when they took his ass off TV behind that scandal he did with those interns or women, whatever. I was like, get his ass off TV. Yeah. And then, now I start watching that Como show and I'm like, this motherfucker's back on the internet. Get his ass out of here, man. I hate that he said that.
Okay, wait. Why did they bring him back?
Who?
Why did
not black? That's the internet. That's the internet. That's the internet show.
Yeah. No, but the thing is that, he's not lying. The way Zionists think is that that's their thinking. We'll sacrifice whoever we need to. You're Goyim. You know what I mean? You're less than, us. You know what I mean? We're the master race here, and then we need you to go ahead and send your sons and daughters over here to die in this, you know what I mean, this type of situation. That's that mindset. And so, and that's why that soldier, in the Capitol said that we do not want to fight for Israel. You know what I mean? He made it real plain, and that's the sentiment going throughout the military, honestly, and America really got a problem on her hand right now. Civil war is seemingly more imminent, daily, with the divides as in this country. As soon the gas is gonna get even higher. We're up to $5 around here. How much you guys up to in SoCal?
The country is wildly united, actually, against a lot of the stuff that Trump is doing. So it's a lot of people on the right have migrated over to the left. So I don't know.
They haven't migrated, bro. The difference is this. But we're united that we don't like Trump.
They migrated to positions on the left. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Positions that the left previously had.
Nick Fuentes said don't vote for Trump.
Exactly. Yeah, he said that if JD Vance or what's that dude's name? Marco Rubio is on the ticket, he's voting for a Democrat. That's what he said.
Candace Owens told all the soldiers withdraw from the military, don't go fight this war. She's promoting the do not go to the military or withdraw legally.
Yeah.
So when he said that, they switched
all this because of Trump. You know what I mean? That's a 4D chess.
And we more united. That's a true statement for me.
Hey, 4D chess, bro.
He said 4D chess.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Look, all this that's happening, all this positiveness. You know what I mean?
It's not positive. It's not positive. It's not positive because all this stuff is negative. They're just reacting to the negative in unison. The negative is happening. It's not a state of positivity.
The most honorable Elijah Muhammad said that in order to force the black man and women together, that it would take the releasing the full extent of the cruelty of white man and women on us to force that unity. So some negative had to happen to force that unity. You know what I mean? And so in this case, you know, there is something negative, but there is, you know, some things that are happening very positively, you know, and if this was ultimately Trump's plan, you know, all together was to create all this.
You giving this guy, you giving this guy credit.
You know,
you giving this guy
positive
credit.
outcomes. You know what I mean? You know, 40 checks.
Salute to Big Cuz. That was a good statement. That was a good statement. I agree with that.
This guy is an idiot. He's not. Yeah, he's bloodthirsty. This has nothing to do. This is a dude that's telling you, I don't think I'm gonna get in heaven. He's a Christian, but he's telling you, I don't think I'm gonna get in heaven. If you're a Christian, the first thing you tell yourself is that you are gonna get to heaven. You know what I'm saying? It's just. I'm just saying. The bottom line is he knows exactly what he's doing. Go ahead, Walt.
Let me say this. It's like this. Here's the thing with Trump. Trump needs the same thing that Putin needs. It's like if we hear that they died and they sleep or something, interview that pillow.
Ouch. On that note, I think we covered all the bases.